All right. I think this time I actually might have got it right on my first try, except I am 11 minutes late. Whatever. I don't think anybody's like waiting for my. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have some confidence in this. Yes, here we are today. This is my third day in a row streaming about the Meta Horizon Worlds mobile reloaded contest that they have coming up. The deadline is October 30th. End of the night, you got till midnight, October 30th. And anybody who's a part of the MHCP, the Meta Horizons Creator Program, there's to be honest, a very low bar to get in there. I mean, I think people from most countries and anyone 18 and up pretty much can join. And you could join right now. You'll get in. You'll get this desktop editor that we're looking at right here. Okay. These are some of the worlds that I've built in here. You'll get this desktop editor and you can figure it out and you can be part of, let me just pull up the link to the competition. Maybe we'll want to reference it later. Did you open it up in Edge? Is that what this one's called? Edge? Anyway. Okay, so there's the contest. We'll put that away for now. So this contest is all about mobile. We've really just talked about conceptual stuff. Yesterday we started working on how to actually use the generative AI. I wanted people to see that you can do stuff with almost nothing, with very little. You can get things done with very little. Hold on, let me move. I'm floating. Maybe I should just make my whole face a thing. That's good, right? Just like that, my ear. It just has like a I don't know, it's just a vibe. All right. Sorry. I swear I think I'm hysterical. Like I'm genuinely laughing. It's not laughter from embarrassment. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do another practical thing, which is called creating custom UI, user interface. So, like when you go on a website, there's little buttons, click the About section, this link, buy now, whatever. And you click it. That is a user interface. We call them buttons, but it's not like buttons on a computer. It's like buttons on a computer. Okay. It's basically, and what's really good about it, and here's the thing, it's really good for mobile. Using these custom UIs makes them automatically optimized for mobile. Because the thing in mobile is sometimes the angles are weird. Sometimes you can't zoom in on things or see things close, and this thing is not doing the right thing. This is not the desktop editor. What are you doing? What is that? What is going on here? It pulled up like the game. It's just showing me the menu. Okay, this is some kind of glitch. Whatever. I guess bye-bye. And let's open it again, and it's 1,000,000% going to work, right? Oh, my God. I mean, I was just using it a couple hours ago, so it could be my computer. Just had its 100th birthday the other day. Yeah, I use, what are those sheets with the holes in them that computers used to run on? Okay. New world. Yeah. I clicked on it last time. It's saying that I just edited it 2 minutes ago. Yeah, so you know what world I'm talking about. Okay, so this is, that's a transition picture, but it took me to that and put me in position there as if I was joining the game in the world. Okay, I just heard a very familiar noise, someone dropping off of the spawn point. And, okay, I'm going to give it a second to load. We're just going to use the custom UI to do something simple. I remember we were talking about custom UI last night. We were learning how to, what's it called? Oh, hold on, I'm going to set this up so I can see the special guest. No, shoutcast for live population 1. Okay. Anyhow, I was trying to set up the YouTube studio, but I don't. It's not like I need to use it. All right, so we'll enlarge this. Here's the world that we made the other day. There is a custom UI. That's the custom UI gizmo. And did we put anything on it? Yeah, we did. Okay. And the cool thing about this is that we made this entire thing with AI. Okay. This time, we're going to get a little deeper into it. We're going to learn how to script it. Without the AI, to be honest with you, I definitely would get the AI to just like do the styling real quick. Like if you know what you want your user interface to look like, you just go in there and tell it, okay, give me 5 blue buttons, each one that has the number 1 through 5 on it. Make square sized and in a horizontal row, and then it'll make it. And then you can go in and do all the scripting stuff. So I could just start from this, right? Here we go. I got this script that the AI made, and I could just, let's see, what script is on this? The change size script, right? Okay, so the change size script is a custom UI script. We'll be able to see there's some nuanced differences. I mean, they're very specific and exact. Everything's digital, so it's either is or isn't. But to the human eye, you can barely tell because usually it says right here, class change size extends. Oh, release notes for new update. Okay, I'll read that in a second. Oh, that's because I'm on VS Code today. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. Usually, when you start a new script, it'll give you a default script, and it'll say right here. HZ.component, right? And then that's what it normally says, but if you're going to do a user interface, you have to change that to UI. Okay. So, it already, like, what I was going to say is we could go in here and, like, because the AI made us this UI, I'm going to have to start not using the initials for everything. Everything's too similar. So the generative artificial intelligence created, let's just say the scripting assistant in the desktop editor, the assistant made this whole, put the object in there and set up the script and everything. Came up with its own styling and then gave itself some codes, some methods, sometimes they're called functions, but basically like this calculation of things to do. All right. Now we could go in here and just like, look, yeah, let's do that. Let's just mess with this first before we start one in Scratch. Okay. Let's break down the parts of the UI. So here's the main part of the UI where it starts to say initialize UI. Okay, that means this is what is going to be on the UI. This is what it's going to look like. And there'll be a little bit of programming in here, but really the programs will just reference to things outside of the UI. You could program a lot more in here, but it's more efficient to do it outside of the initialize UI. Okay, so we got the initialize UI. First thing we do, every single one is always going to say return view. And then that view is going to have children. And since we have more than one child, it is an array, which is a list. And that's why we're using the square brackets, because lists go in square brackets and they're separated by commas. So here's the first thing on this list, the pressable. Okay, so the pressable basically means button. It means something that can be clicked or hovered over even. Because sometimes you can get the button to do something not from clicking it, but just from like pointing at it. So for the most common thing, the reason you would use that is because while you're selecting something, it will like highlight if you're like hovering over a specific button. Kind of like on a computer where, you move around the mouse and some things just highlight. See how like these rectangles are highlighting or whatever. things highlight, and so pressables can recognize that as well. Okay, so, and then the pressable has its own children, and since it's just one child, I didn't have to put the brackets there, and its child is text. Okay, so because I wanted something written on the button, and the text is increase size, or the artificial intelligence, the assistant came up with that. So increase size as opposed to decrease size in relation to that cube outside. Oh, you know what? If someone's watching this for the first time, they might not know about this program. Okay, look. Basically, here's what it does. And you know what? This also, let's talk about why this is so good for mobile. You see how, like I walk up to it, and you can't really, it's hard to see. Even if I go a little forward, but now I'm like past it. I can't even click it. So here's what's nice. You see how that letter E showed up with the pointer finger? If I was on mobile, it wouldn't be the letter E because you wouldn't have your keyboard. It would just be like tap here, and it would have that finger pointing icon. It can be, you can change that icon. It could be like, a gun or a house or a left arrow, or there's many, many different things. Okay, but I'm going to click E, and boom, it automatically zooms in. And that's one of the things that's so good about mobile, because now, look, this is where we wanted it. You can still see everything that's going on in the back with those two buttons there. Now, there was something weird where this cube, for some reason, this cube. Here, let me back it up more. Back it up. Back. All right. Here we go. Because we couldn't see, for some reason, the see that red cube back there kept disappearing. Maybe this time it won't. Yeah, it disappears every time we load into here. Okay, anyhow. So this custom UI is designed for that red cube back there that for some reason disappears every time we go into the UI. I cannot figure that out. That makes zero sense to me. All right. So let's click increase size. Here, I'm going to open up our console. And it's going to tell us every time we increase size, right? So increase size. So I click it once. It's been clicked, and it's that little, chat thing says 1 because it's said it one time. Now, since we clicked it and the exact same command came, it now has a 2. And because it's the exact same one. Like if we went to decrease, it'll do the decrease. And you know what? This is not important. I don't know why I'm getting into this. Let's just say that now we can tell that I'm doing increase. Okay, so I just clicked it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 times. Now look the size of that cube, right? Now let's see. I'm going to decrease the size, but let's not do all the way back down. Let's just do 10, like halfway down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now it's a much more reasonable size, the cube. But the way it calculated it, it's kind of exponential because it's every time it gets bigger, it's 1.1 times itself. It's not like it's growing by like 1 meter each time or something. But again, that doesn't matter. What matters is that this is a custom UI. It's really easy to use on mobile. You just click a button, and then the scripting can do stuff. And I guess we could get the AI to just script things in there for us. So there's a good idea. Set up your custom UI, just the buttons, just the styling, just what you want it to look like, and then go one button at a time and tell it what you want it to do. Okay, and you know what? We'll do that as an example. That's what we're going to do today. Let's continue, get back into this code, though. And I know the other day I was talking about Windsurf, and right now I'm on VS Code. Windsurf finally asked me for money. They were like, you've used up your 25 monthly credits. It took me 8 days to use up 25 credits. And I looked it up, and it was $15 a month for 500 credits, which I will never... 25 was 8 days of like lots and lots of programming. So for the whole month, if I need 25 credits for 8 days, then, how many times does 8 go into 30, right? 2.5, obviously, right? So 2.5 times 25 is what? 63, I would need 63 credits. And, but I would get 500. So it'd be like, I would have to go out of my way. I wouldn't be able to. I don't have enough time to program enough to use it. So it's well worth the money. So I just didn't feel like spending any money today. Maybe tomorrow. I did good. I brought a lunch to work. I ate breakfast at home. I ate in my home. All right. So the view, remember, it starts with a view. It's got its children, and the children are everything in between these brackets. So here's the first bracket, and see how you kind of tell there's a square around it. What you really can tell is here. See how that's white right there? There's a white line across, and that white line represents where the cursor is. So look, if I put the cursor a little lower, that's where the cursor is. Now, when I clicked on this box, though, the cursor is on the box, and then you see this other little box gets highlighted down here. So here's a box with the line, and here's just a box because this bottom box represents what's on the other side of this guy. So if we go down to this box, we will find where this bracket ends. Okay? So let's go down to it and see. It has like a little square around it. We just hold it like that. It has a little square around it because that's the one that we clicked. So everything in here is within it. There we go. Okay. Now that whole view gets its own style, and this is how you do style. You just, you have your children, and then you put a comma and then do style. You could actually do that before you even do that, but it doesn't matter the order, but also doesn't matter about talking about the order. Okay. So the pressable, it says increase size, and then here's where it has a little bit of code. After you write the children on the pressable, see it's got another comma here. You do the on press. There's on press, and then there's on click, and there's even an on release. So on press, I think, is as soon as you click down on your mouse, you're engaging this button. On click, I believe, is when you click it, it doesn't happen until you release it. And that's what the difference between on press and on click, perhaps. And then there's, I think there's on release, it doesn't happen till you let go. I don't know. So we're using on press because it's simple. It's just you click on it and then it'll happen. Now you get to put code in here. You get to put a function or a method for on press. And this on press is for this pressable every time. And I'm not teaching anything yet. So if you're not learning how to do this right now, it's okay. We're like talking about it. Okay. So the pressable is everything from this bracket down to this bracket. And then there's the second pressable, which is still within these square brackets. Okay. So this whole thing is just a view with two pressables. And each pressable has a text in it and has a script attached for on press. And style, it's always going to have style. It doesn't have to have style, but it would just look very boring. On press, because you got to have style. So it says this dot on increase. What that means is there's a function called on increase that we made somewhere else in this script. So it's not a big script. We don't have to search for it. I can just scroll right to it. So here is the function. And here's what the function does. It log something to the console that the increase button was clicked. Remember I was showing you how many times it was over and over. And the second thing it does is it calls another function. This dot adjust target scale 1.1. And look at the on decrease. It uses the same method. It calls the same method. Calling a method is like enacting it or engaging it or telling it start, telling it go. Calling it is like saying start. Hey man, I'm calling you start. Don't ever do this at improv. They will, oh my God, you don't even. All right. So they both use adjust target scale, but the difference is the number that is passed with it. So for on increase, adjust target scale gets a 1.1. On decrease, adjust target scale gets a 0.9. And I'm guessing, I can tell you right now what the script is going to be. As soon as I look at it, it's basically going to be, all three of the numbers from the sizes multiplied by whatever number is passed in. So 1.1 is still bigger than 1, and then 0.9 is less than 1, so it's going to get slightly smaller. All right, so here it is. Here's the script. Adjust target scale. And again, we didn't have to program any of this. And I'm even, man, it's really streamlined. I really like the way they wrote this. They did it with as minimal amount of writing, like no waste, it seems. So adjust target scale. The multiplier is going to be whatever number's in there. So whatever multiplier is, you see multiplier be impacted here. Multiplier is this number that was passed inside. See how this is in parentheses? And this one is also in parentheses. This is saying, hey, there's going to be some number applied to this script. And a matter of fact, if you don't put in a number, it won't work. It'll like give you it'll yell at you. Literally. Just kidding. So that's the number. What's it? It's making up a variable target, and it's saying the target is this.props.target, which is up here in props definitions, the target that we made earlier. So basically the red cube. Now right here, it doesn't know that it's a red cube. It just knows that it's an entity or an object or a thing. And we, in the script, when we connect it, we actually plug it in. That's in the desktop editor, not here in the scripting change. I don't want to say editor for both of them, but all right. And then it says if there's no target, exclamation point means like not or not, then, give you a warning and then return, which would basically end everything. But if there is a target, then here's some more variables. Target.scale.get. Okay, so that's saying that target that we were talking about before, which is this target, which is the this.props target, which we reference on the top. So just so you can keep up, I'm sorry I keep going off track, but I just want people to know what I'm talking about. Because the thing is, when you use words that people aren't familiar with, and not to say these are hard words, but like prop types and entity, they don't really stick. So look, everything that's in props definitions, when we go into the desktop editor, see this one's called change size. Let's go into the desktop editor and click the custom UI that has the script on it. See, this one's going to have the script change size, and this space here where we plug things in, these spaces come from when we use props definition. So every prop definition we put in here. So you know what? Let's put another one. Hey, look at me. And it can be so many different types. Doesn't really even matter. And that's it. Okay, so I'm going to save it. It's going to let's give it a second. But basically, I just added another prop. So remember, there was target, and now I just added, hey, look at me. So now when we go to the editor, I'm going to click off of it and then back onto it. Okay, see this blue dot up here? That means the code is still compiling. I'm not 100% sure what compiling means. But like, I don't know, it has like a vibe that we're like in context. I feel like I know what it means. Sounds like it means like processing or putting together. Yeah, maybe. Anyhow. Okay, so now it doesn't just have a target space. It also has the, hey, look at me space. And we said it was a number, so it gives an option there. We didn't give it a default, so I guess it just defaults to 0. That's cool to know. I didn't even realize that. All right, let's go back to that script. Let's get rid of that props definitions. Hey, look at me. Hey, nah, you look at yourself. Okay. So this props.target is whatever we plug into that space, which for us is that red cube. And we don't have to write this.props.target within this function anymore because we already said we're just going to say target from now on. Whenever we say target, we're talking about the this.props.target. And we're talking about it as an entity, and we're saying that there's a possibility it might be undefined. Instead of saying this all the time, we're just going to say target. If there's no target, give us the warning. And now let's make another thing. Target.scale.get. So target means all this stuff up here, but basically those 3 words right there. Scale is what they say instead of size. Like it could be target.size.get, but it's scale. Scale is the word that they use. And then there's .get, which means like get the data for it, get the info. So scale is like a built-in, I guess method. You know what? I don't know the term for it, but it's built into the computer. When you write .scale, when you have an object and then you write .scale, it will get that it will refer to that object's size, which is 3 numbers. A size is 3 numbers. You know, it's your X, your Y, and your Z. By default, as soon as any object is, however big the object is when it enters the world, when its original state, the scale is 1, 1, 1. So now you're kind of getting what scale means. And again, we're not teaching yet. We're just talking about this stuff. So we got target.scale.get. So basically that's saying, so this current now is actually, every time we say current now, we're talking about those 3 numbers. So whatever the object is, so if the object is now at, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8, everything's growing evenly on this. So that makes our equations a little bit easier. But let's say the scale is that. It's at 1.8. So all 3, X, Y, and Z are all at 1.8. Well, current is now those 3 numbers, just separated by commas. 1.8, 1.8, 1.8. They don't have to be the same, but for this, they do because they're scaling evenly, okay? So then we're making up another variable, and we're taking that current, which is the target's size. So basically, we're saying these 2 letters, SX, is going to be the code for the size, but only the X of that size, which is the first of the 3 numbers. Okay? So current is an object in that regard, and X is one of its keys. Oh gosh, I think I'm saying this right. The half a coding boot camp that I went to, I got kicked out 6 weeks into a coding boot camp. I couldn't cut it. It wasn't good enough. They were like, thanks for half your money. I mean, the military paid for it, which, I don't know, almost makes it worse, but whatever. I did learn a lot. I didn't finish the boot camp, but like, look what I'm doing. I would not be able to do this if I didn't take that boot camp. I'll say that much for sure. All right. It was nothing like boot camp, trust me. So basically, SX stands for the scale of the X. That's probably why they decided to use SX. SY is the scale of the Y. SZ is just the Z. Not the scale of the Z, but the Z of the scale. And then it's times the multiplier. Well, we haven't seen that word multiplier in a minute, because even though it's not that far. But remember we said when they call the function, it has to pass with a number. And whatever that number is, multiplier is representing that number. So whatever we're saying to do with that number, we'll do it where it says multiplier. So all of these will get multiply times multiplier. And if adjust target scale, like on increase, is, see, adjust target scale, that's that function we were just looking at. It's 1.1. So the multiplier is 1.1. So current X times 1.1. Current Y times 1.1. Current Z times 1.1. Or if it was on decrease, it would be 0.9. Look, if I set the let's see, if I set the multiplier higher, if I set it to 10, okay, and set this one to 0.09, okay, everything's the same except for the numbers that we're passing in when we call adjust target scale here and we call adjust target scale here. So the on increase and the on decrease, everything's the same, man, except just what numbers we're passing in as multiplier. Now watch this. What I'm expecting is that when I just click increase once, it's going to get gigantic, as opposed to before, it took 20 clicks to get gigantic, right? 10 clicks, it was still pretty big. It was bigger than the avatar. And then decrease also would make it super tiny. So let's start with decrease, okay? So here again, there's the cube. Okay? I don't know why it disappears when we, okay? Decrease size. Look, it's look how tiny it got. In just one click. I mean, can you even see it? Let's see. Anyway, that's it. It got tiny, right? So here, let's bring that back with us. Oh, little tiny guy, you do so good. All right. And where's that UI? I'll just set this right here. You just wait right there, buddy. I got to work on my little computer program here. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. All right. Now we're going to click increase size. And I'm going to click it twice. Oh, it's not doing anything. Why is it not going? Okay. Something wasn't. All right. So I had to reset it. I'm not sure what wasn't working. So I reset it. So, the cube is back at its the original size. I'm going to click increase size. What? Am I getting a error or something? Why is it doing that? It's not. Oh, you know what? There's this weird glitch. Somebody let me know if you have any idea. Whenever I change something on a custom UI, I have to duplicate it. So I just made a duplicate. So now the duplicate is selected. Oh, hold on. And then erase the old one. And now it'll work again. So weird. Okay? So again, remember E, we'll hit decrease size once. Look how tiny it gets. So it's so tiny. There's no harm in. See, you can't see the back of a UI. You have to go past it and turn around. We'll just put this little guy right here. We'll just wait right here, my little buddy. My little cube, my little red cube buddy. All right, now we're going to click increase size. I'm going to click it twice. Let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Look, I think I bet you the cube is so big I'm inside the cube. Yep, I knew it. The cube is so big I was inside the cube. Now, objects only have color on one side. So when you're inside it, that's why it seemed like you could just see through it. Because you can't. But we are inside the cube. And here's the best part. You can still pick it up. Just run around this big giant cube. I'm going to leave this in the ocean. I don't know why this is funny to me. All right. Look at that. The Borg. I like Star Trek: The Next Generation. Really was the best. So let's go back down to decrease size. Yeah, it's super tiny again. All right. So that is, how a custom UI. I mean, it looks complicated when you look at all these words, and how they're set up and target and props and equal. But first of all, the AI will set up most of it for you. So let's do that, man. Do I want to script something? You know what? I was going to do send events, how one script can talk to another script. That's a whole episode in itself. So let's use the AI again. So I'm back on VS Code this time. I'm not using Windsurf. And for most people, they don't care. Need to know what that means. All right. Now let's... Oh, you know what? That's right. We were using the desktop AI before. Now, the thing about the desktop AI is the desktop AI will straight up do stuff. Like it will create objects and it will plug them in and connect them together, which is great unless it does something that you don't want it to do, and then you don't know what it did and you don't know how to reverse it. As to where coding, it's like you can see the blocks. You can even put little marks in there, be like, this is, where the AI wrote it. Just so that way you can erase it if it messes up your code or just does something weird. All right, so let's go. We're at the editor. Let's go to our Gen AI. And what do we want? What do we want these scripts to do? Let's see. We have the assistant. Okay. For the custom UI, add 2 green buttons that say A and B. Make a text gizmo and have it say whatever letter the player chose. Put all of this near the spawn point. All right. So yeah, I'm realizing now that I'm glad that we didn't really get into that much teaching. I'm glad that we just talked about a lot of this stuff, because it's like, look, if you can just get of what's supposed to be where, you can, tell the Gen AI what to do. It's like I've done some video editing, and I was editing something for a friend, and the friend just sat there and was like, hey, can you make that longer? And they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They had the creative, ingenuity to make a good, cut, but they didn't know all the buttons. They didn't know which did which and how it would work if they did things. And I was like, oh, no. And I would just show them like what's possible. I was like, oh, I can slow this down. I can zoom in here, be like, I can't zoom in there. It's too fuzzy. And they just talked to me like, I was an organic intelligence or something. That's the name of my LLC, but I have not, what's it called? Refresh. There we go. And Horizon Worlds Custom UIs are optimized for mobile. All right, I got a view earlier. Love it. Okay, so it's working. Yeah, man. You know what? Just get this Gen AI to do a lot of this stuff. Okay, I see it just created the text. I see it's creating these boxes. Okay, now it's not doing... See, it's not doing it on the custom UI. Okay, so I guess you can't always get it to do everything, but it did it before, right? Which AI? Hold on, was it? Maybe it was the Windsurf AI that wrote it for us, isn't that the assistant? I can't remember. I guess I got to watch my own video. I really need to watch my own video so I can like make shorts. You know, get like the highlights of this. Because I mean, seriously, who wants to watch? Who just wants to sit here and watch this? All right. So this is what it built. You know, I already know what it told me. I've created the UI with the A and B buttons and the text display. Everything has been placed near the world's spawn point. Okay, I'm going to start being mean. I'm going to start being like, hey, it's not what I said. Okay, so it is working functionally. When I touched it, it's doing what I wanted, okay? All right, so let's be mean. Let's complain. I did not intend for you to create buttons from entities. You need to use the custom UI that is already in the world. What's the name of the custom UI's code? So you would just have to change, or you just have to whatever. I got to come up with the best word. It gets it. Okay, change the script. Change the script. Change size.ts TypeScript. So add some pressables in the custom UI by, I really want to iterate. Okay, by putting the code into the custom UI that is already, I know I'm being really redundant, in the world. It has the change, basically saying the same thing. Just like worded it slightly different. Because I really just want, and that's my version of being mean. That's me being mean to the AI. I don't want to be mean to the AI. What's it called? I will actually talk to the AI about like ideas, like seriously for the contest, or for the last contest. That's what I did. I like needed to go outside for a walk, plugged in my headphones, got onto Gemini, and I got like a free 1 year pro thing. So I'm always using Gemini, and I like it. I use it a lot for images and a lot for writing, and asking questions. Helped me cook a steak yesterday. I did it anyway. It came out really good. And I'll be like, listen, here are the rules for this upcoming contest for Facebook mobile. Here's what I'm good at. I'm really good at this. I'm really not good at that. This is, these are the limitations. Which of these do you think? I think I might even like copied and pasted the rules and be like, here's the rules of the game, of the contest. What do you think is my best bet in getting a win considering my skills? Okay. So let's see what it says. Okay, this is promising that it says UI component. Oh, but because it already said UI component. Okay, so I want to read everything it wrote. See, that's why I say I'm being mean, because it apologizes. Don't apologize, dude. Freaking helping me so hard, and like I know you're not alive, even though I'm calling you. You're right. I should modify the existing change size. Isn't that interesting that we talk to it like that? I'll be like, you need to do like, help me, work on this thing. We can come up with a plan. And I personify the AI, but I think it's just makes sense to like talk about it that way. We would have to come up with new words otherwise and how to talk about it. Okay. You're right. I should modify the existing change size script to add the A and B buttons. Okay. I will not create any new objects. Okay. I will now generate the updated code. It includes the stuff. It'll update a new text element. I'll keep the original increase size and decrease size buttons as well. I'll add a text element to display the choice. Here's the updated script. I'll call it change size to overwrite the existing one. Why? Why call it the same thing to overwrite it? Anyway, this script updates it and a text element. Okay, of course, I updated the change size script to include the A. Now I will delete the physical button system I created earlier as it is no longer needed, but it didn't. He still got those two buttons. Okay, well, let's see what the custom UI looks like. Yeah, I think I bet it's straight up. Oh, no, it's definitely put something there. Okay, so if we push A, let me do that thing where I have to duplicate it and erase it. I mean, I hate to have to do that while you all are watching, but like that's when I'm scripting, I do it 100 times because every little change. I don't know. That's weird. Maybe I have some weird setting or something. Okay. Last pressed, none. So it's even keeping track of the last press button I clicked. Okay. Last press, A, because I clicked A. Now where did it put that A? Oh, I guess the text right there on the text right there on the UI. So it must be using a binding. Oh, cool. I get to show you guys a binding. Okay, cool. We're just touch on it, but the bindings are how you can make things change in your custom user interface. Like when you click a button, it can like be highlighted or something, or now the click sound you don't need a binding for, but like for something on here to change, for example, for this letter A to say now B, you got to use bindings. And what's it called? The only problem with bindings is they're heavy. You don't want to do them a lot, because what it does is every time a binding gets updated, it updates the entire user interface. So when it first comes out once, okay, the computer has to work on like putting all the buttons in the right place and drawing up all the code and connecting what it needs to connect, but then it's up. But if a binding gets updated, it does that all over again. So you don't want to do it like too much. I learned that one the hard way. All right. So let's look at the script, the change me script that's attached to that UI now. Oh, I love this. Okay. So let's see. Did it add anything new? Binding. Haha. It pulled in a bindings. So let's see. Yeah, it'll probably be one binding, and it'll be where it'll say something like last pressed, and then label. And I bet you we'll find that label is, hold on, last press dot derive. Oh, so last button press must be the binding. So that's what they named it. last button pressed. Let's see. Now that I've got it highlighted, everything that's identical to it is going to show up in the bar. So the rest of them are much higher. So see, when I put the scroll over those, that means they're on the screen now. Okay, so this is where it's invented. Last button pressed is a variable that represents this binding. Okay. Then when the button, so there's a script now called on button A. And what happens when that script gets called, a function called on button A. And when on button A gets called, it does this, which is how you change bindings. And once you do .set, whatever you set it to, that'll be what it shows up on the board, and that's when it reinitializes the entire UI. So again, you don't want to do that, change the setting too much. Like you wouldn't want to have a timer, or you wouldn't want to have like words scrolling like constantly, like they do on like the outside of like a building in New York City. New York City. Okay, so on button A, it looks like this is a function or method or something. It's not. This is just, all right, I mean, I guess technically it kind of is, but basically this is a built-in thing for binding. So when you change something, you set it to A, set it to B, whatever. And see, because the way they wrote this, see this, it looks like an apostrophe at the beginning that I just highlighted. And then this one down here on top of the cursor looks a little highlighted. Those two are the ticks. They look like apostrophes. They're not. Under your escape key on the top left, you got like the little squiggly line, which shows up if you click shift. But the regular button there is that little tick. And I don't know why I had to say it like that, but tick. Everything that you write in between a tick is automatically going to come out as a string. So it's just going to be those words. Anything in a tick is just a bunch of letters. Even if it's numbers in there, if you write 1 + 1, it's going to read it as just the symbol 1, the plus sign symbol, the 1. It's not going to do any math. It's just going to show 1.1 as if you were like typing in your report. Like if you're writing a report on Microsoft Word or something, and you type 1 + 1, it doesn't be like equals 2. It just writes what you type. And that's everything that in between tick marks. Except if you use this $ and these curly brackets. I wish I could zoom in. Okay, you know what? Oh, now that I'm looking at it on my monitor, that actually kind of shows up really well. So maybe you can kind of tell. But see how there's a $, and then there's these curly brackets. Whatever you put in there is going to only, the variable is going to show up. So label, it's not going to say label in there. It's going to say whatever it is that label is representing. And label is representing the variable that got derived into last button press. Oh man, derive. I don't understand derive. Derive is how you use the bindings. I've been either doing it without, using derive, or doing but when I need to use derive, it's because the AI figured it out. I did use derive the other day because I just had this feeling that that's what I was supposed to do, but I don't really know how to use it. But anyway, so last pressed and whatever the label is, and the label is whatever, last button pressed is changed to, and that change comes every time someone clicks on button A or on button B. Oh, that's not where it says that though. Let's look at the buttons. Okay, so remember we had those pressables. Everything in this view, it says return view. And then we had the children here. And the children still contain everything. But it used to only contain down to, so here's Here's the first pressable. And then here was the second pressable. And it used to be that's all we had. And then had a little bit of styling. But now there's more stuff. There's a, hold on, text. Why doesn't it say pressable there? This dot on button B. Okay, I think maybe I was highlighting the wrong thing. But anyway, there was 2 pressables before. Now on top of those 2 pressables, we now have another pressable and another pressable. And those are the 2 buttons. And on press, see for this pressable, on press, you do this function. This dot on button A. And what's on button A do? This dot on button A, it does last button press dot set, which is how you update a binding without using derive. Okay. So we're coming up on the hour, 57 minutes. Again, I got to stop screaming at this damn mic. It's literally a microphone. You're not really in another city. Like, I'm not talking to you in that way. I'm talking to you right here. So I got to save my voice. No reason, not much that I can get started talking about now anyway. That isn't going to take a while. And I have like half a pint of fish food ice cream. Oh my God, by Ben & Jerry's. Super good. Like, it has marshmallow in it. Like it doesn't sound like that would be great, but they have little like fishies that are just chocolate fishies, like hard chocolates, like kind of like not a Hershey Kiss, more like a Hershey bar or something. Anyway, I digress. I think there might be some what's it called, caramel in there. You know what was good? The Stephen Colbert. They have some that they like name after people. No, the Jimmy Fallon one. I'm sure the Stephen Colbert one is good. I had that one the other day. Yeah, that one has brownies in it. But there's a Jimmy Fallon Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And I don't think it's called Jimmy Fallon. I think it's like called his show or something like that. You know who has a really, really good one? I'm not making any statement by saying this. Okay, I just think it's just kind of out there. Like Colin Kaepernick. There's a change the swirl, as like it's like supposed to be like change the world, but change the swirl, and it has like swirls of caramel or something in it. That one is so freaking good. That might be the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. The Ben & Jerry's Colin Kaepernick ice cream. So, and again, I have making zero statements about that. I'm just saying, like, he's a football player and an activist. Oh, I guess the activist part is why they probably want, obviously, they don't have like all these football players. They're not big into athletes. So, okay. Well, thank you very much for checking out my stream. Hit me up on Instagram. Teacher Danny is my Instagram, and ask me any questions. So, thank you very much. Teacher Danny out.